going on, everybody? Duckman Dan here. We are in Warframe. We're going to talk a little bit about the Synoid Heliocor. Yeah, I'm talking about the Synoid Heliocor. Actually, it's a weapon that I really like. It's interesting, right? I'm not a Synoid type of guy in terms of the other weapons that are out there. I think they're more nuisance than anything else, but that's just me. But the Synoid Heliocor is something that I'm actually liking to play in terms of the hammers, if you will. So, what's unique about it is, of course, it can scan targets into the codex, and it can actually create a friendly specter of any of those enemies that it kills using a channeling strike, if you kill them with a channeled strike, on something that's been completed within the codex. So if you've got a completed enemy in the codex, you hit them with a channeled kill, they can pop right up as a friendly specter. Not every enemy can become a specter, but the majority of them can. So, you know, you can't have nullifiers, you can't have Eximus units, you can't have Corpus Bursas, stuff like that. You obviously can't have the wild enemies like Desert Skates, Feral Kubros, Feral Cavets, that type of stuff. But for the most part, most of the enemies can become a respawn of a Spectre that lasts for 30 seconds. You can unfortunately only respawn one enemy at a time, so you have to wait out that 30 seconds before it's able to spawn another enemy killed during the channeling damage. But it is an interesting feature to have, especially if you're thinking about what you're channeling to kill. So if you're thinking about specific enemies when you're trying to use this, you know, Ancient Healer on a defense mission, stuff like that, then it's actually not a bad thing. If you're targeting that channeling kill with the higher level enemies, that'll obviously be better as a Spectre than just a low-lying enemy. Of course, for me, it deals impact damage. There's a lot of things I can do with impact damage. I tend to like impact damage weapons. Then that's just, again, it's just me. It's got a fast attack speed. It uses a Crushing Ruin stance, which I really like the Crushing Ruin stance. I mean, it's just fun to work with or play with or use, if you will. I don't know how you want to say it. High status. So there's a lot that you can do with the status chance. Of course, status chance to me is what I prefer over critical, but that's just me. I'm a stat guy, always have been. I think that's been pretty evident. Now, it is a mastery rank 9 or higher to acquire this Synoid Heliocor from any source. So you have to be at least a mastery rank 9 in order to get this, either through your syndicates or through, let's say, trading, if you will. But overall, I mean, I do like the weapon. It moves quick, it's fast, it's crazy. It's got a high combo or a high channeling damage multiplier on it. And of course, if you really wanted to, Blood Rush, Body Count, that type of stuff, you know, you can do those. Those, of course, still work as well. But it's an interesting mechanic. It's probably one of the better in terms of features that they gave the melee weapons, the Syndicate melees. Some of them not really having anything great to work with in my idea, like Lacera, whatever, that just gets you more credits. But this one actually gets you something that is workable. A friendly Spectre is workable, if done right. But only one kind of sucks. But again, if you're doing it right, it's not a bad thing. So there is that. Anyway, I do really enjoy this one. It's worth playing and trying out. I can go ahead and just pop up my current setup here and quickly explain it to you, just so you can see where I'm at. And of course, it's always subject to change, as everything is, and you can put it together however you want to. But let me go ahead and show you what I've got going on. Okay, Synoid Heliocor. So first, on the appearance, I have the Hammer's Palatine skin, which you can see right there. And I chose to do a couple little things here. Now, I'm going to add a Forma, and I'm going to change out Life Strike for definite for me, I think. But for now, I've got Primed Pressure Point on here, Primed Heavy Trauma, which still has room to increase that I've got to get done. Primed Fury, which I still have room to increase. Okay, I'm using Shattering Impact because it is an impact weapon, so this gives me my corrosive, stacking very well. Works perfectly. I've used this many times before. Even on high levels, it stacks just fine. Okay, and that allows me to go ahead and drop in, let's say, Vicious Frost with the Virulent Scourge, giving me a viral. So now I've got impact I've got my corrosive damage through here, through my shattering impact, and I've got viral, which to me is a pretty nice setup. I've been playing around drifting contact. I do like this. It adds an extra 40% to your melee status chance. So in this case, without it right now, I'd only be at a 44%. But with it, it gets me up to 52% just as it is, and I think that's pretty decent. And like I said, Life Strike's going to change as my most likely here. I may still swap things around. Definitely one form are going in, probably a little bit more if I want to maximize my primed mods. But I may throw in Weeping Wounds in here to get even higher status chance on the multiplier. And of course, this giving me, the Drifting Contact giving me a duration, a combo duration of an extra 10 seconds, allows me to really utilize Weeping Wounds, which I was trying out a little bit. And that's just one idea. You can also go in with Spoiled Strike, and it just kind of quickly show you here. If I use Spoiled Strike on here, it's a significant increase in the damage output of this weapon with a minor decrease in attack speed, especially if you've got the Prime Fury all the way maxed up, which I don't yet, but you know, that's something that I do plan on getting to. You can bring this right back up. You pretty much negate anything that has to do with Spoiled Strike, and you get some massive numbers in here. And this would be something that, of course, I would replace because I'm going to keep that Shattering Impact on this weapon and most likely keep Viral on here, just as personal choice. Anyway, that's where we're at. Like I said, I'm going to do at least another Forma, move around with things a little bit. As always, I always change things around. And once I maybe feel comfortable with it as a permanent thing, I'll bring back an updated setup to it if you're interested. But for now, just some suggestions and ideas of things that you can do with this weapon. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.